The Ottoman Empire, the political entity that modern Turkey inherited, is considered one of the longest-lasting and most powerful dynasties in world history, enduring for over 6 centuries. Understanding the formation and development of this great empire will certainly provide profound historical knowledge. The origins of the Ottoman Empire trace back to a segment of the nomadic Western Turkic, Göktürk tribe. To escape the rule of the Tang dynasty, they migrated to Persia and the region of Asia Minor around the 10th century. Inherently possessing the expansionist nature of the Turkic people, this tribe quickly expanded westward, extending its territory to Armenia and Asia Minor by the early 11th century. This expansion led to conflict with the Byzantine Empire, also known as Eastern Rome. This confrontation was largely decided after the Battle of Manzikert in 1071, where Eastern Rome suffered a devastating defeat. This victory helped the Turks establish the powerful Seljuk Empire in Asia Minor, a precursor to the Ottomans. In 1243, under the pressure of the Mongol Empire, the dominant power at the time, the Seljuk Empire quickly collapsed and fragmented into many small principalities known as beyliks. Ertuğrul Gazi, a leader of the Kai tribe, received a small area of land in western Seljuk after a minor border clash. With the patronage of the Seljuks, he collaborated with other ethnic groups to build up a military force, strengthen his tribe's internal power, and begin carving out an empire of his own. When Ertuğrul Gazi died in 1281, his son, Osman, succeeded him. In 1299, Osman declared himself Sultan, king, and officially established the Ottoman dynasty. The reign of Seljuk marked the formal beginning of the Ottoman Empire, which would last for 6 centuries. While neighboring beyliks were mired in internal conflicts, Osman focused on expanding Ottoman territory right up to the border of Eastern Rome. After Osman's death in 1326, his son, Orhan, ascended the throne, moved the capital to Bursa, and began shaping the empire's initial political structure. Unlike many contemporary dynasties that relied on rigid military rule, the Ottoman court under Orhan I implemented a distinct, self-governing legal system, millet. This system allowed ethnic and religious minority communities to manage their internal affairs independently, minimizing interference from the central government. This administrative model maintained the empire's stability for the next 4 centuries. In 1360, Murad I succeeded Orhan and continued the expansionist policy, extending Ottoman dominance throughout the eastern Mediterranean and the Balkans. Thessaloniki, an important Venetian city, was captured in 1387. In 1389, the Turkish victory at the Battle of Kosovo stripped Serbia of control over the region, paving the way for further European invasions by the sultans. The Battle of Nicopolis in 1396, considered the last major crusade of the Middle Ages, resulted in a crushing defeat for the Crusaders at the hands of the Ottoman army. With their increasing influence in the Balkans, the strategic conquest of Constantinople became the ultimate objective. However, just as the empire was about to fully consume Eastern Rome, they were unexpectedly interrupted. Tamerlane invaded Asia Minor and captured Sultan Bayezid after the Battle of Ankara in 1402. Although Ottoman territories in the Balkans, such as Thessaloniki, Macedonia, and Kosovo, were lost after 1402, they were later recovered by Murad II in the 1430s, 1440s. The period from 1402 to 1413 saw a destructive civil war among Bayezid's sons, plunging the empire into a period of interregnum, chaos. This state of affairs only ended when Mehmed II ascended the throne and began the nation's reconstruction. Every Ottoman sultan harbored the ambition to expand the empire's territory using their elite army. This ambition posed a constant threat to the weakening Eastern Rome. Under Mehmed I and especially Mehmed II, the Ottoman military systematically chipped away at and swallowed large territories belonging to the Romans. Mehmed II is famous for restructuring the state and the military, promoting education, and issuing the empire's first law code. He demonstrated exceptional military acumen during the conquest of the capital, Constantinople, in 453. This event marked the definitive end of the Roman Empire, and Constantinople became the new Ottoman capital, ushering in the empire's golden age of prosperity. From its founding in the late 13th century until its peak prosperity in the 16th and 17th centuries, the Ottoman territory stretched across 3 continents, Asia, Europe, Africa, reaching a maximum area of 5.5 million square kilometers with a population of about 25 million people, a massive number for the era. Specifically, the Ottoman Empire spanned the entire southeast European coast of the northern Mediterranean, the entire North African coast down to Morocco, and its former territories now encompass nearly 30 different modern nations. By the early 16th century, the Ottoman Empire had become one of the largest and most politically robust states in the world. Selim, one of the empire's most distinguished sultans, ascended the throne in 1512 and was instrumental in annexing the vast Middle East. He defeated Shah Ismail III of the Safavid Persian Empire at the Battle of Chaldiran in 1514, and in 1517 he destroyed the Mamluk dynasty ruling Egypt, commencing the era of Ottoman Egypt. In 1520, after Selim I's death, Suleiman IV, known to the West as Suleiman the Magnificent, ascended the throne. His reign propelled the Ottoman Empire to its zenith in all fields: politics, military, culture, and society. He restructured the Ottoman legal system and continued territorial expansion. After conquering Belgrade, 1521, Suleiman defeated the Kingdom of Hungary at the Battle of Mohacs, 1526. In 1529, he besieged Vienna, but had to retreat due to harsh weather. Despite a subsequent failed attack on Vienna in 1532, the Habsburg Emperor Ferdinand was forced to recognize Ottoman rule over Hungary, 1547. Under Suleiman I, Transylvania, Wallachia, and Moldova became vassal principalities. In the east, the Ottomans seized Baghdad from Persia, 1535, and controlled Mesopotamia and the Persian Gulf. By the end of Suleiman's reign, the Ottoman population reached 15 million. From 1571 to 1573, during the Ottoman-Venetian War, the Ottoman navy invaded the one island of Cyprus, eventually forcing Venice to sign a treaty ceding the island to the Ottomans, 1573. In the early 17th century, the Ottoman Empire entered a period of internal decline. Sultans often indulged in the harem, and the elite, Janissary corps, frequently revolted. Externally, imperial authority severely diminished as Venetian and Cossack ships constantly harassed them, and Persian forces attacked Ottoman territory in Mesopotamia. In 1656, under the reign of Mehmed IV, (1648 to 1687), when the empire was close to collapse, the court was forced to appoint the 71-year-old Albanian Köprülü Mehmed Pasha as Grand Vizier (1656 to 1661). Thanks to his resolute policies against corruption, the situation stabilized. Under successive Köprülü viziers, Fazıl Ahmed Pasha and Kara Mustafa Pasha, Ottoman power was restored. During this period, fleets from Venice, Poland, Austria, and Russia attacked the Ottomans, but were consistently repelled. The Ottoman army also successfully conquered Ukraine and Podolia. By 1680, the Ottoman Empire had experienced a powerful resurgence, reaching its largest historical extent, 11.5 million square kilometers. Even at its peak of revival, the Ottoman Empire continued its aggressive expansion. In 1683, answering Hungary's call against the Holy Roman Emperor Leopold I, Sultan Mehmed II ordered Kara Mustafa to lead 200,000 troops up the Danube River. For the second time in history, the Ottoman army reached the walls of Vienna, but was ultimately defeated by the Holy League, Western European allies, commanded by the Polish king John III Sobieski. The Battle of Vienna marked the start of the Great Turkish War, 1683 to 1699, in Europe. Following continuous defeats, the Great Turkish War ended with the Treaty of Karlowitz, 1699, forcing the Ottomans to cede key territories, including Hungary, to Austria. Entering the 18th century, the Ottoman Empire fell into a period of stagnation. Many regions previously under Ottoman control gradually achieved de facto independence. The central government had to grant local leaders and chieftains greater autonomy. A series of wars erupted between the Russian and Ottoman empires, 17th to 19th centuries, over control of the Black Sea and the Caucasus region. Most victories, however, belonged to Russia. During the later phase of stagnation, the Ottomans made limited reform efforts in education and technology. However, powerful conservative forces opposed progress. For example, the Guild of Court Writers deemed printing a devil's invention, causing Gutenberg's printing technology, Europe 1450, to take 43 years, until 1492, to be introduced in Constantinople by Jewish settlers. The era of Sultan Ahmed III, 1703 to 1730, marked by the tulip as a symbol of tranquility, became known as the Tulip era. This period saw a shift in policy towards Europe. The nation enjoyed peace from 1718 to 1730, following the Ottoman victory against Russia in the Pruth River Campaign, 1712, and the subsequent Treaty of Passarowitz, 1718. The empire fortified cities bordering the Balkans as a defense against European expansionism and introduced minor reforms, including tax cuts and the first forms of private investment and enterprise. Decisive military reform efforts began under Sultan Selim III, 1789 to 1807, who made the first major push to modernize the army along European lines. Sadly, these efforts provoked the Janissary Corps, leading to an uprising that cost Selim III his throne and his life. The Janissary problem was later solved by his successor, Sultan Mahmud II, 1808 to 1839, who implemented a bloody solution through massacre and dissolution of the Janissary Corps in 1826. By the 19th century, the Ottoman Empire experienced severe decline, with shrinking territory, economic deterioration, and increasing dependency on the rest of Europe. The One Balkan Wars, 1912 to 1913, inflicted massive territorial and demographic losses. Although mid-19th century reform attempts were made to modernize the state, they were largely unsuccessful in reviving the empire's lost power. When World War I, 1914 to 1918, erupted, the Ottoman Empire secretly allied with Germany. The war proved catastrophic. The empire's collapse was a direct consequence of WWWI. Over two-thirds of the Ottoman army perished, and approximately 3 million civilians lost their lives. In the years following WWE, Mustafa Kemal Atatürk and the Turkish national movement launched the Turkish War of Independence. By 1923, the revolution succeeded, forcing Sultan Mehmed VI Vahdettin to abdicate. Mustafa Kemal Atatürk officially established the Republic of Turkey on a portion of the former Ottoman territory. Throughout its 600-year existence, the Ottoman Empire was a powerful entity with vast territory, an elite military, and a rich diversity of ethnicity, religion, and culture. Although WWWI ended the historical role of this mighty empire, the Ottoman legacy has left an undeniable mark on the course of human history.